Hey everybody, we are back with part 4 of our topic of the week autograph collection series, and this time we're going to do our autographed comics. Now if you're thinking of getting your comic books autographed, we see this all the time at conventions. People will have a comic book and they're getting it autographed, and then they think they can send it off to get it, CGC signature series. And that's really not how it works. Now, if you want to send your comic off and get it graded and get the yellow signature label like this one right here, you have to have a witness from CGC or whatever grading company you're using. CGC is industry standard. So if they're not there actually witnessing the signature, when you send your comic off to get graded, it's going to come back with the regular blue label and it's going to say writing on cover. And that's going to actually diminish the value of the comic because it's just been graded as writing rather than a signature. Now that doesn't mean somebody's not going to pay an arm and a leg for a X-Men #1 autographed by Stan Lee, but nobody witnessed it. Because Stan Lee, you can have independent people verify that, but it's not going to be signature series CGC. But that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's not going to pay for it. It just means a comic book shop probably isn't going to pay for it. If ever you have to sell it to a comic book shop, rainy day, you need money kind of a thing. Okay, now that I've rambled and done that little spiel, let's go through our comic book signatures. We got a bunch of stuff signed, basically all by Stan Lee, pretty much. The first one we got signed is The Traveler #1 from Boom Comics. Now, when Boom Comics first started, at least when I first found them, Stan Lee was a contributor, like a consultant kind of a thing, and he was creating the character and they were writing the stories. At least that's the way it was billed. So I thought, I'll have Stan Lee sign Traveler #1. That sounds really awesome. And then when I met him, he looked at it like he had never seen it before and had no idea what it was. So I was like, oh. But I still think it's really cool. If you haven't checked out Travelers, I think it's over now. I don't know if it was canceled or if the story finished. It was actually really cool. I read, probably 15 or 20 issues of it, but it was really cool. Check out Traveler. And the actual very, very first thing, I think was this, I'm not sure what came first, Traveler or this, but I'm pretty sure this might actually happen at the same time. I met Stan Lee a few times, so I'm not sure what order I did this in. But I got a Daredevil comic signed, and this was the first time that Spider-Man made a cameo in a Daredevil comic. And the thing about this one was, when we got it signed, we were kind of starstruck or whatever, and we weren't paying attention, and he actually signed in silver on a primarily gray comic. So if you look at it, the signature really doesn't show up that great. It kind of does with the light shining on it, but if there's no light directly on it, it really just kind of shows up pretty shitty. So that was kind of disappointing, but lessons learned. We know to pay attention next time. One of my favorite things that we've ever gotten signed is Spider-Man 252, the first appearance of Black Suit Spider-Man, signed by Stan Lee. And this is probably a really common comic book for him to sign, but who cares? It's an awesome comic, and it's friggin' Stan Lee, man. So you've got two things there, Stan Lee and Black Suit Spider-Man. I thought it was really cool, so I went ahead and did it, even though it is a little bit cliche. Now we're getting into the really cool stuff. I decided, after the first time I met Stan Lee, that I wanted to get the first appearance of Galactus signed. It was a Fantastic Four, it was a series number 48, it's the Galactus trilogy. Or it's the Silver Surfer trilogy, Galactus or Silver Surfer, because they both happened at the same time. And I was like, all right, so Fantastic Four 48, 49, and 50. And here's 48, signed right there, Stan Lee. Number 48, Fantastic Four. Number 49, there's Stan Lee's signature right there. And number 50, and this one's probably the coolest of the bunch. He signed right there on the right there on the Surfer's surfboard. So I thought that was really cool. And it's like, you can tell he signed that comic a lot because his eyes went straight to the surfboard and he's like, right there. And so, I just thought it was really cool to get that particular trilogy of comics signed. Next up, I got signed X-Men #2. It's got a little bit of a glare there. There we go. X-Men #2. You can see the signature right up there. And this we got this one at MegaCon a couple of years ago. It was the year before last.
Yeah.
It was, I think it was
2014.
It was 2014, so it was the year before. That's just last year. And oh gosh, what a nightmare getting that signature was.
Oh.
Because
Yeah, there's terrible situations outside of Stanley's control when he got stuck in traffic for a very long time.
there was like a robbery or something across
Yeah.
the street, and so he was stuck in traffic. He was just sitting in his limo and just all right. And he was probably 3 hours late because of that whole situation.
Yeah.
And wow, just what an ordeal. Totally worth the dough to get the X-Men #2 signed. This is our rainy day comic. X-Men #1, autographed by Stan Lee. If ever, we were in a big jam and we had to sell something, we could get some money for this and get ourselves out of a pickle. I would rather not do that. I'd rather use it to maybe finance our kids' college.
Or to just keep.
Or to just keep. Like, I'm the one thinking, like, oh, we could get rid of that if we really had to. She's like, or we could keep it.
I mean, unless we had to finance the kids' college with it. Otherwise, I say we can do it.
Now, none of these are on display because we live in an apartment and we have maintenance in and out here pretty regularly. And I'm like, if something's going to get stolen, it's not going to be this shit. Mm-hmm. So we keep that actually kind of hidden. So
yeah.
getting 2 of those was kind of a pain. So appreciate that. And the very last thing I want to show you guys, since we're doing comic books, it was, I don't know, it was before we met. Mm-hmm. So I just, on a whim one day, Lou Ferrigno was at a con and he wasn't really doing anything. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go say hi to Lou Ferrigno. And I had him sign this big old thing. And I actually really love this. And I had it up in my apartment before we got together for a long time. And Lou Ferrigno gets a really bad rap at cons. People are like, man, Lou Ferrigno's such a dick. And he's really not. First of all, he likes the girls. Yeah, so if you're a guy, he's not going to pay as much attention to you. He's not going to really talk to you that much. But if you're a girl, he's very friendly. Second of all, he's fucking deaf. Cut him some slack. I mean, if he doesn't really talk to you, make sure he's looking at you when you're talking, because I don't know how much hearing he has, but I think he mostly reads lips. So if he's not looking right at you, dude, that's on you.
He's not hearing you.
Yeah, that's on you. So if you have a bad experience with Lou and he's not looking at you when you're saying hi, that probably had something to do with it. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I went up to say hi to him because he wasn't really doing anything and I wasn't really doing anything. And we talked for probably 10 minutes and he was super duper nice. And everybody else I talked to was like, man, Lou's a dick. And I'm like, no, he's not. He was so nice to me. So, I don't know, maybe we are just super lucky because we've never had a bad autograph experience.
No.
I've never had a bad autograph experience, so I don't know, maybe we're just charmed or something. Alright, so that's it for this autograph video. I think next time we might do our Firefly autographs.
Ooh, gosh, we have so many.
We do, we have a ton of Firefly autographs.
We might have to limit it to like 2 or 3 posters. I think we have 8.
We have 7 or 8 items that we get signed. 2 big posters and then a bunch of small stuff.
It's a lot.
So yeah, we got a lot of Firefly stuff. Maybe we might limit that to a couple, but we'll see what kind of mood we're in next Friday. Alright, so we're doing a subscriber giveaway for when we hit 250 subscribers. And how it's going to work is this. To be eligible to win the prize, you have to A, be a subscriber, and B, share one of our videos. Any one of our videos, it doesn't matter. Share this one if you want. It's just convenient. Now, what are the prizes? Well, you get to pick one of these 3 comics. The Wizard World Chicago Walking Dead #1 variant in color. Or that same comic in black and white. Or the Wizard World Nashville Walking Dead #1 in color. Also, we're going to Fanboy Expo tomorrow, and we're going to get Jeremy Bullock, Boba Fett himself, to sign an 8x10, and you will get that as a prize as well. So you get 2 prizes. So be sure to subscribe and share a video.